Good day and welcome to another broadcast of Venture Capital Fund. I want to begin by saying that business intelligence is equally important as financial intelligence. So, in this program, we will teach you a range of things associated with business intelligence. For example, we will examine the importance of setting objective and planning, organizing resources to achieve the objective, communicating with and motivating your team, coordinating activities, and measuring and controlling performance towards the objectives that you're going to set yourself. Now, if you're not doing this in business, it simply means that you have a hustle and you want to go beyond the hustle. You want to understand these essential management principles and to be able to apply these concepts and these principles to build a better brand, to build a business and idea brand with local, regional, and international relevance. On the other side of all of this, we look at financial intelligence. And here is where we look beyond just accounting finance. We look at what is the commercial financial sector, the investment financial sector, smart capital markets, and we empower you with a body of knowledge that really helps you to know how to navigate it. One quick example, we show you how to create debt, but along with showing you how to create debt, we show you how to mitigate that debt portfolio. And what that does for you, it allows you to get the equity in your asset much earlier. It helps you to gain what we call equity leverage. And there's so many other advantages that you get when you learn our financial intelligence model for business and for life. Today, I want to welcome you once again on this journey as we examine a particular topic. We are looking at how to build a staying power in this series, and we are looking at business startup solutions. Today, we are at lesson 6, and one of the reasons that we are doing this is because we are seeing that businesses across the world, over 20% of businesses that get started fail within the first year. And over 50% of those businesses that get started fail within the first 5 years. So the information that we're going to be giving to you in this series, it is designed to really tweak your thoughts and put you beyond your hustle, give you enough business concepts so you can start to get enough skin in the game to start to make better business decisions. Today's subject, I want us to look at the CSR, the customer service representative, and how important the customer service representative are. Because what I've seen across the world, there is, in most cases, limited interest that is placed on your CSR. And your customer service representative is a reflection of your value proposition. And it's important for you to understand this. So let's begin this exercise by asking ourselves some important question. Who is the CSR? What is the importance of your CSR? And there's 3 things that I want to point out here. The CSR have direct contact with spenders. Now, how important is this? Your customer service representative has direct contact with the spenders. Should this be an issue of concern? You trivialize the CSR, but still the CSR has contact with the spenders. The most important person and peoples that is relevant to the air supply, the oxygen supply, the blood supply to your organization. The second thing that I want you to observe here is that the CSR, the customer service representative, can make or break your value proposition. And this is why at Venture Capital Inc., Global Branding and Marketing, we put so much of emphasis on value proposition. Because here is where you invest the time, the talent, and the resources, and you develop your value proposition. You know that your value proposition must be designed to have internal impact and external impact. But here is where you did all of this, but you did not spend enough time acclimatizing your CSR, your customer service representatives, to the value proposition. So by extension, if they're not acclimatized to the importance of the value proposition, to the systems of the value proposition, and how to implement the value proposition, they will not be implementing the value proposition if they're not implementing the value proposition. Remember, they also is a reflection of your value proposition. So they can literally make or break your value proposition. So this is your CSR, your customer service representatives who are in contact with the spenders and investors. So it's important that you invest the time, the talent, and the resources to ensure that they are making your value proposition and not breaking your value proposition in the eyes of the consumers, in the eyes of the client. And I cannot emphasize the importance, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of investing the time, the talent, and the resources to really make your CSRs become the game changers. All right, the game changers in providing a quality of service. What I'm saying here is relevant to both public sector and private sector. The third trait, so the third element of the importance of the value proposition that I want us to look at is of the customer service representative, the CSR. I want to now look at what we call the CSR can influence the increase or decrease of the profits of your business. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. You know, I can talk about some real cases. You know, a few years ago, I was doing a branding and marketing campaign for a client. And part of the branding and marketing strategy was to give incentives, weekly incentives to customers. And we are talking here about millions of GYD dollars would have been invested into the campaign. So part of the goodies were coming from supermarkets. And I went to a particular supermarket and I put the pitch to them. The young lady who was the CSR, probably the middle management CSR, and get me this, every single person in your organization is a part of your CSR, every single person. But let me get to the point. Her attitude was like, we are making money and we can do it out making a few other hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. And when I'm spending money, when I'm investing money, I look for quality customer care and I make choices. Hence, every customer, they're entitled to exercise that freedom of choice, that freedom of right to choose between lousy customer service and excellent customer service. So based on my experience there, I took the business elsewhere. And here's where we had another company that was making much more cash flow than they were very pleasant and pleased and supportive of the vision, and they were making money. Quality customer care. Your customer service representative can literally influence the increase or decrease of your profits. So here is where we are talking about a unique and special type of people. And it's important that companies across the world really stop and take the time and take stock of their importance. And as I go through this program, I will make some recommendations that is necessary. So the three things that we have looked at so far clearly establish the importance role that the CSR play with your company. One, they interface directly with the final consumers. Two, they can make or break your value proposition. And three, they can influence the increase or decrease of profits. There's no doubts about this. There's no ifs and buts about this. That's the reality. The next thing that I want to look at is what we call the value proposition and the CSR. And I want to emphasize this because I wanted to really get to you. I want you to really see the importance of what is being said here today. A strong CSR enhances your value proposition. And we will look just now at what are those traits of a strong CSR, because you need to ensure that in your organization, public or private sector, you have strong CSRs. A strong CSR can enhance your value proposition. And this is what you want. Your value proposition is the promise that you make to the public to add value, to fix problems. And that should be a promise that you take very seriously. Your key focus in business must never be only about cash flow maximization. This is your central focus. Your focus must be on adding value and fixing problem, and there's where the value proposition comes into play. But I did say in my last broadcast, there are so many businesses today that are in operation that your key focus is not on building credibility and confidence, trust, and credibility. Your primary concern is simply to cash flow. And because your key focus is to cash flow, you're not making strong value proposition. All right, you're not making strong commitment to the final consumers because your key focus is on cash flowing. Many of you ask why your business is not scaling fast enough and in the right way. These are things that I want you to look at. All right, so I've just said that a strong CSR will certainly enhance the value proposition. And you want to be doing a business, not a hustle. When you're doing a business, you have the value proposition. You understand the importance of the value proposition. You build them out, you develop on them, you acclimatize your team to the value proposition. You ensure that the customer experience this because it's the customer willingness to spend with you that will literally enhance the opportunity of cash flow maximization. Now, a weak CSR will undermine your value proposition. So you need to ask yourself today, as I go through some of the traits just now, whether your CSR are strong or whether your CSRs are weak. And where they're weak, you need to make them strong. Where they're strong, perhaps you need to make them better. So important for you to recognize this. Now let us examine some of the essential traits of the customer service representative. Remember, these are the people that interface directly with the spenders. These are the people that represents your value proposition. These are the people that can influence the increase or decrease of profits. So what essential traits and characteristics do you believe that they should have? They represent the air supplied to the organization, the blood supplied to the organization, the life of the organization. They are that one of the critical elements in the whole process of managing a successful brand. What are essential traits do you believe they should have? Now, at Global Branding and Marketing, we specialize in branding and marketing. We specialize in financial intelligence. But let me tell you what we see as some of the essential traits, and we have built thesis to do all of this. We see one, self-awareness and high self-esteem is important. Self-awareness and high self-esteem. I'm not going to get into the details of the self-awareness and high self-esteem, but I think that you're smart enough to at least get an idea of what I'm talking about. You do not want to have weak people representing the brand. I'm not saying don't hire them weak, but make sure that when they get out to interface with the final consumer, they have strong esteem, so they have strong self-esteem, and they have a fair degree of self-awareness. We will go deep into what we call in self-awareness as we work with you in our masterclass, as we work with you at a company level, whether public or private sector, to ensure that you're positioning your value proposition to be given proper representation. All right, your sales, your brand intention value traits must be given proper representation by your CSRs. All right, so the next thing trait that I want us to look at is what we're going to call self-confidence and brand awareness. Now, this is two things we're talking about here. The first is brand awareness, and the second is self-confidence. And they must have self-confidence when it comes to representing your brand, which means that your brand has to be something that is strong, something that is of substance. I will go deeper into all of that. All right. I'm tempted to say a lot of things, but I don't want to say it here in relation to this. But I'm going to give you a hint. I have encountered shopping experience where the CSR says to me, don't buy, because the promise made in the product is not going to be realized. Remember that CSR is on the ground, they're getting feedback on a daily basis, and perhaps because I'm a regular or some other reason, they decide to communicate the right information to me. So these are some important things that you need to understand. Have a strong brand and work with your CSR to ensure that they have confidence in your brand. All right, they have confidence in your brand. And this is what we call confidence and brand awareness. They must be aware of how your value proposition is going to add value and fix problems for the final consumers. They must be aware of this, and they must have confidence in communicating that information. The reality is this, they're not going to have the confidence by just hiring. And the reality based on the research that we are doing across the world, most of developing economies, you hire and you place. You know, you go through that recruitment, selection, and placement, and you stop at placement. There's no proper acclimatization, there's no proper training. And I want to say to you, if you're doing more than a hustle, you're doing business, you need to ensure that you train your team to understand your value proposition, your brand intention value trait, and ensure that they can communicate this information effectively. I will expose you to a series of unique training content that we have developed at Venture Capital in Global Branding and Marketing that will make your CSR top-notch. Top-notch. So it's important for you to understand this. The next concept that I want us to look at here, as we look at the traits of the CSR, I want us to look at self-application and the value proposition. Again, I cannot emphasize that the CSR must be empowered to interpret your value proposition and communicate your value proposition in the strongest of ways to make the impact on the final consumers. Now, in our program, we have some very, very, very unique programs that will help the CSRs. All right, they know how to, win attention. They know how to pique interest. They know how to motivate desire. They know how to get the customer to make the right investment decision, how to move them to action. And once they make action, the brand is so designed to make impact. They understand how to convert first-time users into lifetime customer, again, based on the corporate culture itself. They understand the process of how to build confidence and trust and credibility in the minds of first-time and existing customers. This is your CSR. You know, these are very, very key people, unique people, special people to the organization that deal with the direct buyers and investors. They are the oxygen and the blood supply to the organization. They are that one of those critical parts of doing business. And you want to train them up well enough to equip them to do this job for you. All right. So what I'm going to talk about next is what I call specialized training programs that we have developed at Global Branding and Marketing and Venture Capital Fund, Venture Capital Inc. To help businesses. Now, let me say something very quickly before I go into the programs that we did. Many businesses today, you are looking for capital. Many businesses call me and they talk about capital for agriculture, capital for this, and capital for so on and so on. And all they have is an idea of what they want to do. And I would say to them, if you really want to inspire potential investors in your brand, you got to prove to them that you have enough skin in the game. Everything that I'm going through here is to say that you have skin in the game, because all of that I'm talking about over the last few days with this series of projects is where you are ensuring that you have critical market intelligence about your business. All right. And you want to make sure that you have that when you go into venture capital funds, when you go into the commercial financial sector, when you are serious about providing value for money, believing in your value proposition enough to invest the time, talent, and resources to truly understand what is your value proposition, how your value proposition is going to impact all stakeholders. You need to ensure that you commit the time to learn the process. So now let's go to it. There's what we call specialized training programs for the CSR. And one of the first things I want us to look at here is what I'm going to call sales leadership. Why is sales leadership so important? There are many persons that you're putting as your frontline workers, your CSR, your frontline workers, but they don't understand sales. They don't know not anything about sales leadership, and from the time you do something like this, it means that you have put the brand in a compromising position. In our program, we go into some essential tenets of sales leadership that your team needs to know, your CSR needs to understand, you need to know. We also look at something that we call marketing leadership for CSRs, sales leadership for CSRs, and marketing leadership for CSR. Now, there's a qualitative distinction between sales and marketing, but they need to understand this entire process. All right. The other concept that I'm going to introduce is what we call brand leadership for CSRs. What is a brand? Everything is a brand representing your company. They must understand it. So when things are out of place, they must be able to say, can we put this in place? They must be able to use independent thinking to properly position your brand to make the strongest impact on the specific demographic, the specific target market. Are you equipping them with this kind of intelligence so they can do better as CSRs for your operation? You need to ask yourself, it is, or are you just going through that recruitment, selection, and placement process, but there is no acclimatization, there is no training, and that is designed to achieve a specific end results. And that end result is to make the strongest impact on the final consumers, to encourage us to let the final consumer know that they're making the smartest and best investment decision to shop with you, and really give them the encouragement to continue doing that. So there's where you're going to get recommendation. There's where you're going to be able to significantly increase sales and profitability of your business. You need to get them the right training. The CSR are so important. I cannot emphasize it enough. The next program that we want to look at is what we call communication leadership for CSRs. Communication is so important. All right, communicating is absolutely necessary. It's not just about saying the words, but you want to know that they can speak in such a way that they can connect with the demographic, the specific target audience, the customer base. They can connect, and there are strategic systems that can be used to ensure that they are connecting. Remember, they're interfacing, they spend more time than you interfacing with, the final consumer. The people that are spending money, putting money in your pocket, they spend more time. So you have to equip them to do a massive job when it comes to communicating and connecting and motivating and inspiring and building healthy relationships with those customers. I trust you can see the importance of everything that I'm saying here. The last thing that I want us to talk about is that we put tremendous value on the human resource. That's our ideology, that's our corporate culture. Another skill set that I want to emphasize is what I call understanding management processes for CSR, management leadership for CSR. It's important for them to understand how to take ownership of self and how to manage self, and the way they present themselves publicly has to be something that they're taught about. All right. Remember, your CSRs, whether they're strong or they're weak, they represent your brand. You have to ask yourself, how do you want them to represent you? And when you ask that question and you answer it, you now need to go one step forward and ask yourself, what steps are you prepared to take to ensure that they can give you the best representation possible? This is not a hustle, it's a business. And you want to build all of these essential tenets into doing your business and get off of the hustle so you can really scale your business, your idea, your brand with local, regional, and international relevance. Help is here. Reach out to us for a free consultation. All right, at Venture Capital Fund, Venture Capital Inc., Global Branding and Marketing. We have a combined knowledge of over 75 years in this industry. All right, and talk to one of our PFAs, professional financial advisors, personal financial advisors. Talk to our accountants. Talk to our business consultant. Talk to our mentor and coach. Talk to our technical people that is going to give you, hands-on support to scale your business, your ideas, and your brand. Reach out to us for some free consultation. All right. In closing, I want to emphasize this. Your corporate culture must be seen. Your corporate culture must see the importance of the value proposition. Your corporate culture must see the importance of having a value proposition. And let me say this, many businesses, you start without a value proposition. You need to know that value proposition is a promise to the customers, and you have both internal and external customers. We talk about this. You need to have your internal impact systemization strategy, and you need to have your external impact systemization strategy. Those are all things that are going with you. You need to recognize that. The corporate culture must look beyond the sales objective. There's nothing wrong with the sales objective. Yes, you want to cash flow maximize, but your culture must be about looking beyond this. You want to look beyond this. Last but not least, what I'm going to say is that your corporate culture must recognize that CSRs is a reflection of your value proposition. I've said that many times within this program, so you need to just reflect on that. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm a multiple best-selling author for several books, including Billionaire Codes and Managers Toolkit, I want to encourage you to visit our sister company website, which is www.megamoneygy.com, and peruse that website. You will see copies of the book on the website. You can purchase online. You can inbox me directly and make a purchase. You can also subscribe to that website and get daily uploads of the business content, the financial content that we continue to make. You can also navigate shopping at the top of that website, and you will see a number of programs that we are offering. And you can purchase these programs from anywhere in the world. We can train you virtually. We can come to your location and provide physical training. But we know it's COVID-19 right now, so of course we can look a lot at virtual training platform. I want to emphasize this. Our mission at Venture Capital Inc. Global Branding and Marketing Venture Capital Fund is to position our clients, employees, and strategic partners to understand, create, and leverage passive income cash flow, build multiple streams of income, leverage smart investment strategies in order to build generational and intergenerational wealth. In our program, you will learn about financial intelligence in the commercial financial sector, financial intelligence and the investment financial sector, financial intelligence for smart capital market, and financial intelligence for a sustainable livelihood. Most importantly, you will learn that financial intelligence goes beyond your ability to make money. It addresses the issue of understanding the global financial system and leveraging this intelligence to create good debt cash flow, minimize existing debt financial portfolio while you maximize financial and equity capital gain. The understanding of the commercial financial sector, the investment financial sector, and smart capital markets are an important body of knowledge for you to have in the global landscape of financial intelligence. So in closing, again, I want to encourage you to reach out to us now for a free consultation. And we will be willing to work with you to really help you to build a better business and a better brand, and to build it with local, regional, and international relevance. Be blessed, and we look forward to engaging with you and seeing you on the other side.